Have you ever felt like someone has too much control over your thoughts, emotions, or decisions? Like you're constantly walking on eggshells or second-guessing yourself? It's an awful feeling, right? Almost like you're looking over your shoulder, waiting for the other shoe to drop. In today's video, we're diving into how to destroy someone's power over you and reclaim your life. Stick around because these steps could completely transform the way you see yourself and your relationships. Before we dive into the how-to, let's take a moment to understand what we're dealing with here. Power dynamics. They're everywhere, in our workplaces, families, friendships, even romantic relationships. It's about where the perceived power lies in a relationship, who calls the shots, whose voice gets heard, whose needs get met first. Sometimes these power dynamics are obvious, like in a boss-employee relationship. But often, they're much more subtle, simmering beneath the surface in the unspoken rules and expectations we create. And here's the thing about unhealthy power dynamics. They thrive in silence. The less we talk about them, the more insidious they become. But by shining a light on these dynamics, by naming them, we take the first step toward dismantling their hold on us. Think about a time when you felt small or insignificant in a relationship. What were the signs? Did you feel like you couldn't speak your truth? Did you constantly worry about upsetting the other person? Recognizing these unhealthy patterns is crucial because it helps us understand the problem before we can even begin to fix it. So how can you tell if someone has an unhealthy amount of power over you? Trust me, you'll feel it. It's like a weight on your chest, a knot in your stomach that just won't go away. But sometimes, we need to name those feelings to truly understand them. So let's talk about some signs. Do you find yourself constantly censoring your thoughts and feelings around this person? Do you feel afraid to say no to them, even when it means sacrificing your own needs? Maybe you find yourself making excuses for their behavior, minimizing their actions, even to yourself. Or perhaps you're always the one apologizing even when you know you've done nothing wrong. These are all signs that the power balance is off, and it's time to reclaim your power. I know what you're thinking. Easier said than done, Brene. And you're right, it's not easy. But it is possible. It starts with a commitment to yourself, a promise to honor your worth and reclaim your voice. The first step is acknowledging the issue. This isn't about blaming yourself or the other person. It's about taking responsibility for your role in the dynamic and making a conscious decision to change it. Next, set clear boundaries. Decide what you will and won't tolerate. Communicate these boundaries firmly, and remember, boundaries are for you, not to control others. It's about saying, this is what I need to feel safe and respected. And here's a hard truth. Setting boundaries might mean having difficult conversations. It might mean disappointing people or even pushing them away. But trust me, the people who truly care about you will respect your boundaries and support you in this journey. Chapter 4. Acknowledge the issue. Let's talk about acknowledgement. This is where the real work begins, the moment we stop denying the reality of the situation and choose to face it head-on. Acknowledging the power imbalance isn't about dwelling in blame or shame. It's about taking a clear-eyed look at the dynamic and saying, yes, this is happening, and I'm ready to change it. It's about recognizing the ways in which you've shrunk yourself, silenced your voice, or compromised your values to accommodate someone else's needs. It's about acknowledging the hurt, the frustration, the resentment that's been building up inside. And here's the thing about acknowledgement. It's an act of courage. It takes bravery to shine a light on the uncomfortable truths we've been avoiding. But it's in that space of honest reflection that we find the strength to move forward. Remember, acknowledging the issue isn't about dwelling in the past. It's about creating a different future for yourself. Chapter 5. Set clear boundaries. Now let's talk about boundaries. Boundaries are essential for healthy relationships. They are the lines we draw to protect our physical, emotional, and mental well-being. They are the way we teach people how to treat us. Setting boundaries can feel really uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to putting others' needs before your own. You might worry about hurting someone's feelings or being perceived as selfish. But here's the thing. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. It's about honoring your own needs and values, even when it's difficult. Start by identifying your non-negotiables. What are the things you absolutely will not tolerate? Once you're clear on your boundaries, communicate them clearly and directly. Don't be afraid to say no, even if it makes the other person uncomfortable. Chapter 6. Detach emotionally. Emotional detachment. It's a phrase that often carries a negative connotation, as if it means becoming cold or unfeeling. But in the context of reclaiming your power, emotional detachment is about self-preservation. It's about recognizing that you cannot control someone else's emotions, but you can control how you respond to them. When someone has power over you, they often hold the reins of your emotional well-being. They know which buttons to push, which words to say to trigger a reaction. Emotional detachment is about cutting those strings. It's about refusing to give them that power any longer. This doesn't mean you become indifferent to their feelings or shut down emotionally. It simply means you create a healthy distance between their actions and your reactions. You choose to respond from a place of strength and clarity, rather than reacting from a place of hurt or fear. Here's the thing about reclaiming your power. You don't have to do it alone. In fact, trying to do it alone can often make the journey even harder. Reaching out for support is a sign of strength, not weakness. It takes courage to admit you need help, to let others see your vulnerability. Talk to trusted friends, family members, or a therapist. Share your experiences, your fears, your hopes for the future. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who believe in your strength, and who will support you every step of the way. Remember, vulnerability is not a weakness. It's the birthplace of courage, connection, and change. Allow yourself to be vulnerable with the people who love you and watch how their support empowers you to reclaim your power. Chapter 8. Reclaiming your power is about more than just breaking free from someone else's control. It's about stepping into your own power. It's about rediscovering your worth, your passions, your dreams. It's about building yourself up and creating a life you love. Start by focusing on your strengths. What are you good at? What brings you joy? Make time for the things that make you feel alive, whether it's painting, hiking, writing, or volunteering. Set small, achievable goals for yourself and celebrate your successes. Each step you take, no matter how small, is a victory. Remember, self-empowerment is a journey, not a destination. It's about showing up for yourself every day and choosing to live a life that is true to you. Chapter 9. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away. I know that's not always easy, especially if you care deeply about the person. But sometimes, it's the only way to truly protect yourself and your well-being. If you've tried everything to salvage the relationship, if you've set boundaries, communicated your needs, and sought support, but the other person refuses to change or respect your boundaries, it might be time to walk away. This doesn't mean you're weak or that you've failed. It means you're strong enough to prioritize your own well-being. It means you're choosing yourself, and that's always a victory. Chapter 10. I once knew a woman named Sarah who had spent years in a relationship where she felt constantly belittled and controlled. She had lost her voice, her confidence, her sense of self. But one day, she decided she deserved better. She started small, setting boundaries and speaking her truth. It wasn't easy, but with each step she took, she felt her power returning. Eventually, she made the difficult decision to walk away from the relationship. It was the hardest thing she'd ever done, but it was also the most liberating. Today, Sarah is thriving. She's rediscovered her passions, built a successful career, and found love again, this time with someone who cherishes and respects her. Sarah's story is a reminder that no matter how difficult things may seem, it's never too late to reclaim your power and create a life you love. Breaking free from someone's power over you isn't easy, but it's one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. Remember, your worth isn't defined by anyone else's opinion or control. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Let's reclaim our power together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.